Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Where are you watching our videos from? And how is your Friday going, or how was your Friday? For those who are watching from different areas, because we know that there is difference in timeline. Ladies and gentlemen, there is something I want us to look at in this analysis. A lobby group known as Uzalendo Institute of Leadership and Democracy on Friday sued Jubilee Secretary General Jeremachion at the Supreme Court, not in his capacity as Secretary General of UDA of Jubilee, but because of his strong statement on the 8.1 million votes that Raila Odinga allegedly garnered in the just concluded general election. And I beg your pardon, in the last general election, I don't think it was concluded. Maybe it has not been concluded. Their lawyer claimed that Kioni had been misrepresenting the facts about the outcome of the presidential election held last year, and the team further are claiming that through his utterances, he disregarded the Supreme Court ruling that upheld the election of President William Samoei Ruto in September, and the head of state defeated his closest rival, Raila Odinga. And according to what documents that we've seen, they are saying that the court will thereafter, they are going there for some prayers, that the court should issue a ruling once compliance is done and a bench constituted to hear the matter. The lobby argued that Kioni abrogated his responsibility to ensure that his followers were fed up with correct and accurate information. And they're saying it is not the duty of the court to condone disobedience, deliberate disobedience of its orders, nor waiver its responsibility to deal decisively and firmly with contemners. Now, so this case is going to be heard on 17th. I have managed to peruse photos, looked through the photos at Orange House when the ODM team led by the Secretary General visited the party. And also, if you look at the Jubilee Party headquarters, you look at some of the closed meetings that Jeremachion was holding there with some delegates, you realize that the 8.1 million that was the whistleblower allegedly released is something that is still in their office. And of course, Jubilee, Jeremachion was actually seen as the person that was pushing more into that. And so I tried to put a question, and I was just asking a lawyer, a member of this channel, Mr. Willis here, that what does it mean? What is the rationale behind picking one individual, Jeremachion, to sue Jeremachion, while the 8.1 million vote that Azimio la Umoja were insisting that they got, actually all of them had been talking about it. In fact, Jeremachion was just a spokesperson, was just speaking, reading the speech in a press briefing that he released while he was flanked by the other members of the coalition. The senior-most members of the coalition are Raila Odinga and Martha Karua, who are in that ticket. And if someone was to be sued, between the voice of Jeremachion speaking about 8.1 and that of Raila Odinga speaking about 8.1, which one is louder? Which one is amplifying the fact? Which one is heavier? Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell and like our video. Thank you very much for those who are trying, for those who are supporting us, for those who are supporting this channel. Ladies and gentlemen, what are you seeing in this petition? And my good lawyer tried to narrow down, saying that probably these guys are just going after Jeremachion. And there are many battles that Jeremachion will have to fight in the next few days, because even I think court adjourned the National Delegate Conference that was supposed to be held later this month by the Jubilee Party, as the leadership wrangles within Jubilee still continue to are still being felt, different factions trying to pull strings on their end. So, from nowhere, and you can see on 17th this case will start. That will be 3 days before the 20th mass action, the grand so-called mass action that Raila Odinga team are calling. And to some extent, we are directly trying to sneak back the whistleblower report. And you need to look at this. If you look at that organization, it's a civil society organization. Being as people have been in this country, you normally know that some of these strings are normally pulled. In politics, things don't just happen. You don't, even if you are an NGO, there are many NGOs that are into the leadership and democracy space, who also have many projects they are doing. You don't just pull such and throw yourself into political ring without a political trigger. And so that's one thing that someone's telling me, that there are many NGOs or there are many organizations that are in this space. Uzalendo Institute of Leadership and Democracy maybe is in that space, but then it don't just happen. They can't just throw themselves into what can be seen as a political reign. So there are many theories into it. Who is behind? Is it the UDA wing, which is supporting William Ruto, or is it the Azimio wing, which is supporting William Ruto? Because at the end of the day, in whose interest will this petition, rather, will this case head? Now, it's a very interesting one that personally I really want to try to follow to the latter, so that until it comes to its logical conclusion, so that we see what really is playing out. Now, I'm just going to pick some few quicks from it. Could it be the point to silence illegitimate calls by the Odinga team that they have been calling for? And you know, I normally stand guided on this matter. I've been holding on the cost of living question to be in the hierarchy of priorities, or rather the cost that Azimio should put. I've been vouching for the cost of living to be at the top, and if you ask me, my adversary has been on that line. But be it as it may, you know what's happening is that the illegitimacy questions remains strong. Now I've just been trying to sample reactions, and even speaking to some few Kenyans around here, and there seems to be an emotive factor with the cost of living, with the illegitimacy, with the stolen victory, because the cost of living question, unga, and all that, it's more of a logical topic. It does not lack the emotional connection. So from what I'm also gathering here is the stolen victory question has an emotional connection. And what could be this after is, if this case is going to start, then probably by the time the calls for the mass actions will be coming, or rather, as mass action probably is going to gain momentum, there will be calls to silence those illegitimacy. How about if the court gives some orders, some gagging orders, on commenting on some few things here and there? Probably that may be there, but it's also something that you can dangle with. But then, how I wish if this lawsuit will trigger a discussion, or rather they will also involve IEBC as one of the parties there. Because what we have been saying in public here is, despite the fact that we have, or rather the UDA dismissed the whistleblower report, and of course creating a lot of narratives about the issue of opening servers here and there, but then IEBC has kept their silence. They have not been reacting, and I'll be very keen to see if in the wake of this case, now that if this case is going to pick up, they'll come up and give a response about the matter. It will be an interesting one if you see even now the commission reacting, because at the end of the day, Supreme Court just upheld their vote, their results, but they're the custodians of those results. So, one thing I'm looking at here is this. When they challenge, probably, I think what's going on here is clear. They want to challenge the 8.1 million issue releasing the whistleblower report. And what would be, and that is that really I'm seeing, it will also be a suit that would actually bring IEBC into the fold. Because is IEBC going to court again to confirm their 7.1, 6.1, 7.1, 6.10 tally? Are they going again in court to defend themselves from what these guys are saying? Because actually what is going on here is when Kindiki, when Jubilee SG is going to, maybe is going to be represented in court, when it's going to respond to some of these claims, what will that mean? What that would actually mean is that you will have to profile more, talk more about the whistleblower and defend the whistleblower data in terms of how they got it, why they believe in it, and here and that. But then I think Azimio needs to be very tactical moving forward, because we know that and we understand the case can go to Supreme Court. How about if they choose to execute the matter in public? I will not be shocked to see tomorrow in a rally when it becomes a discussion in the political rally. So that if in any case maybe Jubilee SG refuses to respond, then maybe even an arrest is staged. So it could be employed to create a lot of diversions. And that's why I'm saying that it is not just a move that has just come from nowhere. Because it also meant, when the reason why UDA will even be willing, if they're the people behind it, then they will be willing to bring the national attention on the cost of living. Divert the attention of the mass action from the cost of living question to other factors. Because all over the world people are protesting. And of course, the protest on the cost of living and the way government is running is not starting today. People have been protesting about the other day water, about trade, about the Chinese issue, and of course protests have been going on. But then they will be choosing to divert the attention from the cost of living. So from what I see, I think civil society organizations are refusing some funds on election litigations. That's it. It's being funded. This is something that should worry the administration, because I remember when Matiang'i was in charge of security, it was a big issue by then, and it came out loudly, and where they're complaining that civil society organizations are trying to fund the opposition on front and here and there. So it's a discussion we're going to have. It's an interesting one, that whether it is coming from Azimio or Kenya Kwanza, one thing I believe, there is no neutrality to it. It's not just pursuing a cause, because an NGO cannot just throw itself on a political reign, because this is a political reign. So whether on whose side, whether it's coming from Azimio or Kenya Kwanza, but it's going to be an interesting debate to see how it's going to come to its logical conclusion. Let's meet in the point blank.